So we're going to get now into idea number 4, the fall of the noble elite. This is going to be a short section. We already talked about it so much in the rise of the merchant class, but there's just a couple other things that we could mention. You have the death of birthright nobility, and you have a reduction of bloodline versus bloodline wars. And many people will think this is not relevant today, the reduction of bloodline versus bloodline wars, but this is still happening in the world today. I mean, if you look at what's happening over in the Middle East, the Israel versus Palestine debacle, I mean, it's just, it's so terrible that what's like these people, you have people on one side and people on the other, and they both say, we cannot live and continue our life if this other people who are this other type of bloodline continue to exist. We both swear to absolutely destroy the other side. This was something that was happening all throughout the feudal system. It's like, you have your family and you have your noble family, and they're very wealthy. And you have another family over here, they're very wealthy. And you're both competing with these two noble families for the limited number of resources that you have. And so you have this bloodline versus bloodline mentality. With Florence, it doesn't, like the bloodline versus bloodline battle, it happens, although on a much smaller scale. It happens a couple times where noble families are, they're still arguing with each other and they're still competing for control of the city. But that's exactly it. It's the city. That's what they're trying to control. They've lost the ability to have their own bloodline, have a monopoly on the area. So it's no longer like, let's just try to do this just for our bloodline. Like, you have to find a way to tie that back into the city. And so this is really like the death of birthright nobility. It's like, yeah, I don't care where you were born from. Like, are you helping out the city or are you not? Because if you're not, then it really doesn't matter, because you're going to be out of here in a generation or two anyways. And so you really start to get this idea of an emphasis on meritocracy, of how much value are you contributing to society? How much value are you contributing to the Republic? That's what establishes your place, your civic contribution. And there's this idea that will come up again and again and again throughout the Renaissance, is the idea of civic duty. And we'll talk about these with all of the subsequent topics. All the subsequent ideas will all center around your civic contribution and your civic duty. You have this new republic, which basically, republic, we already talked about it. It means a public affair. Excuse me. It's a public affair. And you have this other idea of the little people being able to gain control. This is something that the Medici did better than anybody else. This is how the Medici were able to establish such a prominent position in the government, and how they were able to attain such power, is because they thought what was good for the little people is ultimately going to be good for the city, and it's going to be good for us. You can't just do what's good for you anymore. And so they called them the populo minuto. Basically means the little people, the regular everyday people. So they realized it's a public affair. The governance of the city is not just what's based off of good for the elite. It has to be good for everybody else. If your lives are not improving, then they're not going to vote for us. They're not going to want us in power, and they're going to violently overthrow us. And we can't have that. So we have to make sure that the little people's lives are improving too. You have this collectivism that's happening at the time. And this is something that I talked about in the very introduction of this whole entire series, is that we have people in America who, the majority of us, are having trouble paying our bills. So clearly, what is the decisions that are being made from the top down are not actually benefiting the little people. Us, the people who work, the people who, we don't have millions and millions of dollars in the bank. We're not born into some sort of really wealthy family. The majority of us are just regular people. We want to be able to pay our bills. We want to be able to not have to worry about how to put food on our family's table. And so what is going to be good for us? I want to end each of these sections with a historical quote, because the way that these people thought and the way they talked is just so beautiful. Their words say it so much better than mine. So here we go. A quote from Niccolo Machiavelli about how to properly distribute your benefits to the little people. He who becomes prince through the favor of the people must work to keep them his friends. For the Medici, by distributing benefits to the lesser citizens, held Florence securely against the ambition of the nobles. So it was only by distributing those benefits out that they were able to hold their power. So this is not an idea that's meant to like lead you into delusion that all you need to do is vote for the right person and then, everything will be solved. But it does lead to the idea that if the person you voted for isn't improving your life, you have to find ways to get them out. We need leaders. We need leaders on a family level. We need leaders on a city level, on a little town level, on a statewide level, and on a nation level. And so we need to make sure that these leaders that we're electing, that becoming, like how he says, who becomes prince through the favor of the people. That's the only reason they're there in the first place, is through the favor of the people. They're not there through their bloodline. And if they are there, and that's the only thing they're contributing, we need to find a way to throw them out. We need to find a way to overthrow them. And we need to make sure that the people who we have in charge of us are people who are going to be distributing benefits to us as well.